Hello, my name is Fiona Morrison and welcome to this video on Google Sites for remote learning. And I am an infants teacher and a digital literacy coach in Sydney, New South Wales. Today I wanted to show you one of the tools that I have found extremely helpful during remote learning. In New South Wales, we were in remote learning during March and April and the start of May this year in 2020. And with our infant students, what we were finding was that the tech was just too difficult for them to do independently. So we tried using our wonderful Seesaw platform to host all of the work that the students were going to use. But the parents and the students were telling us that it was too much, it was overwhelming having all the activities in a list on Seesaw. They couldn't access it well, they were missing activities. So we were trying to take on this feedback from the families and we were trying to work out, well, what's the best way that we can support our younger learners and their families during this difficult time. And that's when we had the idea of using Google Sites. Google Sites became our hub for learning. It became our platform where all of the learning content was put up for the students, including a timetable. And then with that, the students were then able to go onto Seesaw and do their activities or watch videos that we had produced as teachers for them to help with their learning. So today I wanted to show you a brief overview of how to use Google Sites in your classroom, the benefits of using it, and then how you can use it beyond remote learning within your classroom context as well. So come and join me as we have a look at Google Sites. Now, as you can see here, I am now on the Google Sites page where I can create a new page or also see the pages that I've already made. To get to the Google Sites page, you can either click on your grid view here and navigate through this Sites page, or if you go to your Google Drive and you right click, it drops down this little menu and you can click on More and it comes down here where it says Google Sites. If I click on that, it will take me to Google Sites where I can create a new website and it will save it to that spot on my Google Drive. So you have lots of different templates that you can choose from. We chose Class, so I'm just going to click on Class to show you how to create a website. Now, when I proposed the idea of creating a website with my colleagues and we put it together, I had lots of people laugh and joke about how quick and simple it was to make a website. And they'd say, oh, Fiona made a website in 5 minutes. Oh, but it's actually really simple. You don't need a technology degree. You don't need to know everything about coding or anything like this. This is a super simple way to make a website. You can make it for your class. You can make it as a class blog. You can make it as a blog for yourself. You can use it as a newsletter. We've been using it as a homework hub for our students following remote learning, and it goes on the same website that we had last term. And so all the learning is put together. And I think that Google Sites has a really beautiful opportunity to flip learning for our students so that we can record lessons, put it up there, and then students can view it later to revise some of the concepts that they're struggling with. So that's kind of a future direction that you could use with these Google Sites. So as you can see up the top here, it shows us that we can go to the Google Home sites if we want to, and we can give it a name. So if I give this Google Sites Draft, that's what it's going to be called. Up the top here, you can put your class, Fiona's class. You can add a logo if you want. If you've got a school logo or something you want to put up there, you can put it up behind there if you want. I'm going to leave it blank. To edit any of the elements of the website, all you need to do is really click on them. So the elements that are already on the page, I just click them. So if I want to change that picture in the background, I can click on the picture and it says here change image. I have the option to upload an image from my computer that I want to put up there. If you've got a picture of your class or again a school logo or something that you want to put up, you can put it there. Or if you click select image, there is a bunch of images that are already available from Google through Gallery. You can put an image from a URL. You can search your albums or your Google Drive if you want to import straight from your Google Drive as well. So I'm just going to put this image. It just needs time to think and adjust. And while it's doing that, I'm going to change the name of the class. I'm going to change it again to Fiona's name. Oh. Fiona's name. So you've kind of got the heading of the website. This is what people are first going to see when they go on. So if it's a class website, you might want your class name, you might want to put a motto up there, things like that. If you don't like the colours or you don't like the theme of the website, if you go over to the right-hand panel over here, it says Insert, it says Pages, which we'll get to in a minute, or it says Themes, you can choose a different theme for your site. It can change the font style, and you can also change the colours within that style as well. So there's Simple, there's Diplomat, we've done Aristotle, there's Vision. So there's lots of different kinds that you can choose from. I'm going to go with this because I like that colour. So once you have put the name of your class at the top, there's the option to put in some more text. Again, you can use the elements that are already there. You can see here that they've pre-put in some information for you to make your life a little bit easier. So instead of having to work out where to put things, there are things there already for you to just edit. So you could easily put, welcome to our class. Here you find all the information you will need for class and homework this term. You can put a couple more pictures there if you would like. If there is a part of the website template that is already there, for example, these images, if you don't want them there, you can see that when I hover over an element, it comes up with that blue border that shows me what I'm focusing on or what I'm about to edit. So I'm going to go down here, and it comes over to this side where there are some different options. If I don't want this element or this section, I can just delete it and it's gone. That's pretty straightforward. It's left this little element here, so I'm going to get rid of that too. I don't really want that, I'm going to get rid of it. Here again, there's a pre-put image that's been put in. You could easily change that image if you would like to. If I click over here on the right hand template and it says insert, I could insert an image from there. You do also have the option with your sections. Over here you can delete them, you can duplicate it so you can have another one that's exactly the same if you want a similar style, or you can choose a background for that section. So you can click through the different options and see what they've got pre-fit there, or you can also again put an image. So if you want to have an image for your background, I'm going to just use this pattern here. As it adjusts for readability, you'll see that in a minute, once it's adjusted, it'll come up a nice red background, and that goes behind your words there. So there's lots of opportunities to tweak the design principles or design elements of the website as well. So you can make it your own, you can make it suit your class, how you want it to go. So as you could just see there, I clicked on the adjust for readability. So it's made it a bit darker so it's easier to read the words. If you don't want it to be darker, you can just click on that and it will change. So you've got those options as well. So really, to populate your website, there are a few different options. You can see here again that there are sections. I'm going to delete that. So I've just got this blank section here. If I want to put in some text, there's no text there, but I want to put some in. You can click on this right-hand panel, you can click on text box. And it will let you put text in here. You can see that when I put the text in here, the usual formatting bar has come up and it gives you the options to change it to a title, a heading, a subheading. You can make it small text. You've got options to change the sizes, how bold it is, whether it sits in the middle or not. You've also got the options of changing the size of the text within the website. And I don't know if you can see, when I do that, there are some vertical lines that are coming up behind the text. That shows you where you can align elements within that section. So for example, I've aligned the text to be on the left-hand side here. I have the rest of this section where my cursor is that I can put something else in. If I wanted to put in a picture, if I wanted to move this picture, can you see how it changes to blue, and it shows me that there are some different options of where I can put that image. The bottom blue lines show me that if I put the image where I'm hovering now, it's going to break up that section into 3/3. So I can put the image in the middle. I could put some more text on the other side if I wanted to. I could then also just put the image wherever I want, and it aligns within those vertical lines so I can see where it's going to end up. So if I go back to here and I put it in that third, I can then make another text box, put text here. I can make it smaller again, and I can drag it into that section. So you can see now I have 3 equal sections here. So that's a way that you could play with the layout yourself to fit your needs. If you're wanting to put a video that you've made in class and an explanation next to it, you can easily put your video to the right-hand side here. You can change how big or how wide your video sits within that frame. And you can also change the size of the font box, like the text box and where it sits. So you could have Monday's lessons. You can have that as a title, put it in the middle. You can have your video over here and an explanation here. Watch this video from today and answer the following questions. Or watch this video today and complete the seesaw activity. So that's how we kind of structured it for our home learning website, and I'll show you in a minute what our home learning website looked like. So there's lots of different options and opportunities for you to put in different text boxes and things like that. As you can see, there's also the image option that can download straight from your computer. You can see here that if you click on Drive, it'll open up your Google Drive and you'll be able to choose a PDF, an image, a Google Doc, anything to go straight onto the website for you, which is fantastic. My biggest piece of advice for anything that you're putting on Google Sites from Google Drive like that is that you need to change the permissions on your document or your PDF to be able to make it accessible to other people. So I'll show you in a minute how to do that as well. Lastly, you can also embed videos. So if you have a video from YouTube that you can share, we created our own videos and uploaded them to YouTube because it was the easiest way to get the students to be able to view it. I would be able to put the URL into this box and it would pop up for the students. So let me show you how to do that now. So if I click on embed and I paste my URL from YouTube, you can see that it pops up with an example, and you can see here this is an example of something that I have made to show the students, and I click insert and it will put it on the website ready to go. The next thing that I want to show you, once you have populated that page with everything that you want to put on it, if you scroll back up to the top, you'll see at the top right hand corner that there are some different pages that you can use, that you can access. If I go to the right hand panel and click on pages, it shows me here that I've got my home page, I've got my schedule, and I've got newsletter. If I want to change any of the information that's already there, I can click those 3 dots. You have the option of setting one as your home page. You can duplicate a page. So if you like the structure of that exact page, you can just copy it for another page. We use that a lot during the remote learning so that we didn't have to recreate the structure of every page. And I'll show you again that in a minute. You have properties that you can edit. You can add a sub-page, which again, I'll show you how to use. Hide from navigation and delete. If I go to properties, it will enable me to change the name. So if I change to learning, it'll come up. You'll see that it changed straight away as I was editing it. So if I click on learning, this shows me the new page. I change it to learning. Again, you can change the text type so it's a bit bigger if you want to make it bold, ready to go. Again, you can just populate that page with whatever you need to be able to communicate with your families. Here you can see that they had a schedule, for example, for remote learning. That's the kind of schedule that they used, and I can show you how we sort of did it a little bit differently. If you're wanting to have a drop-down menu within that learning, say for example you wanted a page for week 1, a page for week 2, a page for week 3, and so forth. If you go over to the right-hand panel where it says pages, and you click on those 3 dots, and you click add subpage. I'm going to click on that and write week 1. You can see that it's brought up a little arrow next to learning, and as I hover over it, I'm not even clicking anything, as I hover over it, it immediately comes up with week 1. And that enables me to have another page that I can populate with the learning from week 1, and I can put my videos, my timetable and things like that there. If I want to do another sub page, I click on those 3 dots next to learning, from 1, click on the 3 dots, add sub page, week 2. And now you can see I've got multiple weeks. You can also put sub pages within those sub pages, literacy. So now you can see I go here. If I click, I had to click on that one. So hover over learning and go to literacy. It comes up there. And then I've got a newsletter page. So you can navigate through to the different weeks, the different learning. It's completely up to you how you structure your website and how you think it's going to be beneficial for your students. So we've gone through all of the basic elements. If you click here, you can add a new page quite simply if you want to have contact teachers. Now that's added it as a sub page. So I'm just going to click and drag that underneath newsletter so it's its own page. So you can add pages if you want to. You can add a new link if you're wanting to link between pages as well. So that's the basics of how to use the Google Sites. One thing I forgot to mention, which I'll mention now, is instead of clicking and dragging to make your own section layout, there is also the option of just choosing a layout from the side here. So if I want to put an image or a video here and my text here, you can see that that layout is already available to me. If I want to have the pictures or the videos with little text underneath, you've got the option to put just a whole bunch of pictures or videos together. You can do the 3 columns, some videos or pictures with the text next to it, as well as the pictures or videos, and there's 4 sections. So as you can see, there's lots of different possibilities with Google Sites. Not only can you use it for remote learning or for home learning, for sharing the learning that you're doing in class, but this could also be a great way to display student work. You could easily show photos from the week that the students have been doing. You can show the works that students have been doing, some wow work maybe. You can show sports days, all of those sorts of things. So it really could be a portfolio of your class and what they've been up to for the year, which would be such a beautiful way to demonstrate the success that your students have had in your class. So that's another way that you can use Google Sites. So lastly, I just want to show you how we used it in our remote learning. So if you look up here, this is what we've made. You can see that it says U1 home learning website because we used it across U1. We've got our menus up here, so home just goes back to the home page. If we go to learning and go to term 1, I click on term 1 and you can see that there was a week 11 page, drop down all the way to week 10. So you might have heard me say at the start of the video that we stopped remote learning in week 2. We had most students back by week 3. We had some students at home, so we still put things up for week 3. And then we continued to try and put up our phonics lessons on the website for students to practice at home. And we also put up any YouTube videos we might have watched to reinforce maths concepts and things like that. So we also use it as a homework hub. So if you click down, you can see from week 6, we decided to put all of our homework up on the website as well, so that everything was in the one place. So they didn't have a homework book, they didn't have Seesaw, they didn't have a website, they just had the website that would tell them what they needed to do for that week. And we found that really helpful, not only for us, but for the families as well. So for our page during remote learning, this page is the same for every week. So we just duplicated the page for each week, and then we just changed the sections as we needed to. So week 2, term 2, we had a timetable here of what the students were doing for that week. You can see that we put a must do and a can do, because feedback from the parents was that there was a lot of work that needed to be done, that they were struggling with the workload, and for the year 1 students it was a bit difficult for them to use the technology independently. We also had some parents who wanted more work, so we were trying to juggle those two things. So we put on our website that they must do some literacy and some maths every day, and then there was the option to do the other subjects if they wanted to, or if they had time later on, and they could catch it up on other days if they wanted to as well. So you can see here I've used the section to change the background so that literacy really stood out. So we had our literacy at the top, and then we put the days of the week. So we knew on Monday, if I go to Monday and I read here that you've got to watch Mrs. Morrison's reading video, watch the phonics video, and listen to the speaking and listening video, you can see under Monday that all of those videos are there. One thing we also had with remote learning was a work booklet, because again, with year 1, the extensive use of technology was a bit too much. The students couldn't do it independently, and so they really needed something that they could just do by themselves while their parents were working from home or looking after younger siblings. So we had a work booklet that had some tasks as well. So as you can see on our timetable, we had complete the worksheet, watch the video, reading online reader. Some of it is Seesaw tasks. So on our website, we're able to make it really explicit what the students were to do each week. So our Google Sites was a hub for that learning. And it was just a great way to communicate to parents and to students really clearly what the learning was for that week. So you can see that we separated it by day. We had our guided reading things there. We had some YouTube videos. We were able to put in picture reminders for our reading each week. We had I made some Google Slides videos for our students about some of the concepts that we were doing. And again, we have some YouTube videos, more videos that we've made, links to websites. So the students did a coding activity that week, so we linked to that. And we put in a PDF for an art activity for the students to be able to do. So that is just a basic summary of Google Sites, how to make your website, and how it can be used for remote learning or learning even while you're on site. You can flip the learning around so that you can put up videos, you can record the videos as you're teaching and just put it up on the website. And students can revise at home if they need to. If some of your students are struggling with multiplication or with division or with fractions or with similes, personification, whatever it is, if you record that lesson, you can say to the parents, I noticed that Johnny was really struggling with multiplication today. We've recorded the lesson. If you would be able to watch it back and chat with him about it and do some revision at home, that's a great way to build partnerships with the families and get them on board as well. 2 quick notes that I want to quickly add before we finish up. Earlier I said that I would show you how to embed a PDF from Google Drive and how to change the permissions on that. So I've gone back to my home page and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. And if I click on Drive, it'll open up my Drive folders. And if you scroll through to where the file is that you want to use, and if you click on it and it says one selected, insert, and you can put that in no problems. However, you also need to be able to change the permissions on that. So I'm going to show you how to do that, because that's a really important step, especially if you're on a school system server. It might only be accessible to the educators and student accounts within your server, your site, your domain. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to change that now. So if you go into Google Drive where the folder or the file is that you have shared, so I've found my PDF here that I've put up on the website. If you right click on that file and it shows share, get shareable link. If I click share and it opens up the box where you can add people and things like that, you need to change the link, and where it says restricted, you click down and you click anyone with the link. That means that anybody can access it if they click it through your website. If it's restricted or if it's linked only to your school, then only people who are using your domain or your server will be able to access it. And we had a few issues early on in remote learning where we were finding our feet and trying to work out these problems and troubleshoot these problems. And this was one of the big things that kept happening was my colleague and I kept forgetting to change the permissions on it. So once you've changed the permissions, anyone can now access that PDF. So when the students are working from home and they go onto the website and they click on that PDF and they open it up to print it, to view it, whatever it is that you need, they can now access it without having any problems. And lastly, I want to show you how to publish your website so that people can use your website, the parents and the students can access it. When you have finished designing your website, putting in all the elements that you need, the basic elements, because we're always updating it to put on more learning and videos and things like that, you go to publish, and you click publish. It will ask you for a web address and it will show you the link underneath of what the web address is. So who can view my website? I manage it so that anybody, again, this is the same. I don't want it to be restricted. Oh, sorry, through the draft I want to be restricted because I want to be the only person who can see it while it's in draft mode. But the published site, I want to make it to public so that anybody, whether they're at home or not, can access it. That doesn't mean that the general public will be able to Google it and find it, because the extension for the web link is quite extensive. So you can see that it is quite long and there's a lot of bits and pieces in that URL that you would give to parents to find. Here it says request public search engines do not display my site. So if you don't want it to appear on Google's searches, you can click on that and then that way it won't appear to the general public during those searches. And then you click publish. That means that it is up on the internet, ready to go. That doesn't mean that you can't edit your website. So if you go to pages and say we want to add a new subpage for week 3, we're putting up week 3's learning. If I go click on publish now, it will show up with a split screen. It'll show what's currently published, and you can see there's no week 3 page currently published. And then it will show the draft. This is what I'm wanting to now put up on the website. So you can sort of see what has been changed since you've last published it. So it doesn't mean that if you go on and update the website, they are not immediately going to go up on the internet. They will only go up on the internet if you publish it. So this can be really handy if you are wanting to kind of keep tweaking on the website. So if you're wanting to add things throughout the week or on the weekend for the following week, you can go in and you can do that and you can keep adding bits and pieces. And then when you are finally ready for it to all go out to the parents, you can click publish and it will all go out. Then when you start editing again, it will stay in draft mode and will only go out once you click that publish button. So I hope that's been really helpful. If you've got any questions or if I can help in any way further, please contact me on Twitter at FeeMorrison2. I'd love to chat with you. I'm always happy to help where I can. So I hope this video has been helpful. I would love your feedback on whether this was helpful for you, or if you would like more information, I'm more than happy to share some more information about Google Sites. And I look forward to seeing what you create. Bye for now.